Hey, party people, how y'all feeling? Welcome to the Couples Corner. We are Team Bevans, excited to be in the Couples Corner with you all again. And we want you to go ahead and invite some people to the conversation. You can share this and allow some people to know that you are in the Couples Corner with us. And we are excited to have you with us. So, welcome. And of course, you know how we roll. Once you jump in the Couples Corner, go ahead and throw in where you're from, how long you've been married, just so for those who chime in with you, we'll be able to know and see um, what's going on and where you're from, all that good stuff. But again, go ahead, share, and invite some people to the conversation. We are going to pray, and then we're going to get started into our topic for tonight. Um, and we're going to have us a good old time. Of course, you know that this is conversation. This is not a dictation. So this is not just us talking to you, but this is you dialoguing with us, sharing your thoughts and concerns. And of course, this is an open forum. So if you have questions and concerns, you can jot them down and you can send them to us, and we will allow all of those questions to be answered if we can. And so we are going to pray, and then we're going to jump into our topic for tonight. So let's pray. Father, we thank you for another opportunity to be together in the Couples Corner. We thank you, Lord, for what you have done thus far in our relationships and our marriages. And we pray, Father, that you would continue to give us good health and thriving relationships. We thank you, Lord, that you are giving us the tools that we need to be successful, that what we have in each other, that we would value it, and that what we have learned to grow to love, and those things even that we have challenges with, that you would give us the tools and the understanding and the wisdom of how to approach those things so that we can have a long-lasting relationship. We thank you, Lord, that you are the God who has instituted marriage, and that we would take it light. We would not take it lightly, but that we would honor it, and that we would cherish it, and that we would do our best to present our marriages to you, and it would be something that is pleasing in your sight. So we're grateful for what you've done, and we're grateful for what you're going to do even on tonight. We thank you for every couple that is represented. We pray, Lord, that every ear that is able to hear, every eye that is able to watch, that you would be able to speak freely to each and every one of us, to show us and to give us what we need so that we can have more success in our relationships and be a better witness and example in the earth of marriage and how it's supposed to function. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, so tonight we are talking from the topic expectations, and when we talk about expectations is it's a touchy subject, because when you're talking about relationship and you're talking about marriage more specifically, you have to look at the fact that some relationships function off of expectations, right? And then there are some that have zero expectations. It's all about you and your spouse, and you guys being able to discover what works best for you. Which one of those things and approaches is going to give you the best result? So that's what we're going to be talking about on tonight, talking about expectations, talking about what they look like, if and how they can and should be communicated, as well as the potential changes, challenges, and dangers of having them. So, that's what we talk about. And so I'm going to, of course, I'm going to toss it to my wife in a second. But one of the things that I am going to ask of you all who are tuning in, those of you who are on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, feel free to chime in and share. But how has expectation affected your relationship? More specifically, you. Whether it's you having expectations for your mate, or you finding out about the expectations that your mate has for you. How has that impacted you? So that's one of the questions that I definitely want to throw out there for us to consider and look at. But we're gonna hear what Mrs. has to say about these expectations.
So of course, hi everybody. I hope everybody had a great Sunday. So of course we do want you to have some healthy expectations in your relationship, right? Like you should expect that you will grow, in your marriage. you should expect that, y'all will build things or things like that. However, sometimes we expect certain things into my engaged people. This is very good for you. Sometimes we expect things of our spouse that, one, we haven't communicated, and also, like, some of these things are unrealistic. Let me just say that. Some things are unrealistic. So I feel like this. I feel like the day you married your spouse, that day that you said I do, everything that was going on that day, that's what you should expect. Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. We can go back and forth with this for a little bit. If you want, please chime in. But that day that you walked down that aisle and you said I do, that is what you should expect. And why do I say that? Because I know somebody's saying, why you say that, Cherie? Because we should not have expectations that I do. Again, I tell y'all this all the time. I do is not magical. We should not have expectations that I do is going to create this human being that you have not known for the past however long y'all been dating. I do is not about to change anything. It's about to make you legal. A legal couple, married, and prayerfully, you will be successful. You'll be married a long, long time till death do you part, as we all say in our vows. However, it will not say that if he wasn't taking out the trash at his own house before he got married, that when he get married to you and y'all all together, that he's going to take out the trash. And I'm giving y'all this light stuff, right? Because we're expecting a lot of things. And sometimes we just play our part, right? So please talk back at me if you have, if you think, hey, maybe Cherie, I think you're wrong. We should be expecting it should be happening. We can't go on what should be or what can be or what could be. We need to go on the day that you got married. How was that person? Sometimes we're complaining. Sometimes we're going through, issues and having arguments about something that this person was. They were. It's your fault because you expected that now that we're married, she will control all the money when she wasn't never good with the money. So why are you expecting that? So then when things are wrong, now you upset. Why? Did she take a class? Did she do anything differently to be able to handle that? I'm not saying that we don't expect, oh yes, we might move from an apartment to a house if that's the case. Let me say this to you, young people that's listening, any young couples that's listening. This is not a requirement that you live in an apartment to a townhouse to a house. I just want to throw this in there. This is a sidebar. You save your money and get what you need to get for you, right? It's not like a step ladder, like I gotta move an apartment first, or we're gonna get married. We can't just buy a house. No, you can do whatever your finances allows you to do, right? If you're wise with them, then you can do whatever you need to do. If you're not wise, then hey, you might have to take them steps. Okay. So that was just a little sidebar because it's just a sidebar. You'd be surprised how many young people think when I move out, I need to go because they're not trained. Right. I need to have an apartment first, or I need to rent first, or whatever. Now, if you have to rent, you rent. Mm-hmm. Some older people still rent, but you don't have to do that if you plan for where you're going. Okay. Right. Now, so you shouldn't expect okay, yes. So what I was saying is if you expect that, yes, we're in an apartment, I expect that in 10 years, we won't be living in this apartment. Yeah, those are healthy, good expectations. But if you expect that your husband will be the only one paying the down payment and he needs you to work just like him, if you didn't discuss that, you shouldn't expect that. You shouldn't, because you're going to let yourself down. Every time we expect something from someone, our spouse, our friend, our parent, our child, we get let down when it is not fulfilled. Mm-hmm. We should expect for them to be who we see, what we see, right? Yes, you want people to grow and you pray that they will and you hope that they will. But when you are getting married, you should say, if this person, Marcus used to say this all the time, never changes. Right. We're not marrying possibilities or potential or I think, right? I used to tell this story a long time ago. Everybody was like, everybody was like, yeah, he gonna be the next Luther. right? Now, if I marry Marcus on a contingency and the expectation that he about to be Luther and we about to get Luther money and some, I'd be upset. I'd be upset because he's not the next Luther. He's better than Luther, but he's not the next Luther. Meaning, the world does not know about Marcus Bevans. They should. They really should. But the world does not know about Marcus Bevans. Right? Marcus Bevans could have had a record deal, but said no. So, I've been messed up. Listen to people. Right? So this is what I'm saying, expectations. And y'all, please talk to me. What have you been expecting? What was your question you asked?
I was saying, like, what, how has that process been for you? Like, with expectations, the expectations that you had for your mate and or the ones that you found out that they had for you. How was that process?
I had expectations that this. And y'all know I give y'all this practical small stuff because this is how you can understand it. But take this to the big stuff that you got going on, right? I had expectations. You get married and every night you're going to sit down, you're going to eat dinner. Why? Did I do that at my house growing up? No. Yes. Did we eat dinner? Yes. But everybody had a different schedule. So sometimes we weren't all at the table at the same time. But I just, in my mind, was like, yeah, this is how it's going to be. Never discussed it. Knew what the schedules were. But I had expectations. So some evenings, it was rough because of what I expected that was not happening. First of all, it was not probably communicated all the time. So, what have you guys expected? And if you sit down right now and think about it, can you guys see, like, man, I expect that from him or her. But reality is they don't even know, or they can't even give me that. Or that's something that I conjured up in my own mind that they should be doing. Right? But we haven't even had a conversation about it. Yeah. Right? Expectations will let you down when you do not receive it. Yeah. And then this makes a big issue in your relationship. And for what reason? And then can you be honest and say, yeah, I expected that. And I don't even know how I expected that because Marcus had 17 rehearsals on one day, 25 on another. We still had to work. We still had children. Like, yes, if we were planning it, there are some people I know, you do not call them between a certain time because that is their dinner hour or two, right? Not a lot of us are like that, but there are some people out here trusting me because I have to call people before I go see them. You don't call their phone. You don't ring their phone because they are doing that, but they planned that. They communicated that with each other to learn. So that people will learn and respect it. Yeah. But if I don't communicate to Marcus that I expect us to sit down at this dinner table every day at 6:30, he doesn't know that. And I'm expecting things. And even if I communicate it and he can't produce it right away, I can't be upset. I can't be upset. This is not magic. We don't snap our fingers in a relationship. And some of y'all probably be snapping your fingers, but you ain't getting it. You ain't getting it. You don't snap your fingers and think, oh, it's going to happen. And for those that are engaged, you will not say I do and get everything you expect to get. No. You will not. That's just like having a mate and expecting them to be the total package. You pray that they will be. You pray that they will like only be missing one thing, like checks. What y'all say? Checks all my boxes. Like, no. Now, through the relationship or, through dating or whatever, you can discuss these things. You can discuss the boxes and see if they can get to it, but don't expect that they will. If you don't, what you see on day I do, is what you get. What you see is what you got. What you see is what you expect. Now, I pray it doesn't get worse, but don't be expecting that it will get better. That it will, and when I say better, I mean getting to what you want. Yes, I expect your relationships to get better. I do. But I don't expect you to be sitting around nagging every day or fussing every 4 months because you're not getting things that your spouse does not even know. Right. Expectations are something that you strongly believe that you will get now or in the future.
Yep. So, go ahead. We're finished.
No, but go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So earlier, when you were talking, it sounded like you were making the point that, from you're marrying them now and not the potential. Because sometimes we're trying to be in love with our mate's potential and not their reality. The reality is who you are right now. And like you said, like if nothing changes, you do nothing different, you get no better, you make no adjustments, can I live with you for the rest of my life and be happy? And if the answer is no, then that means I have some expectations that if you don't meet them, I won't be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
problematic because I should be able to be happy with you in your current state and
Mm-hmm.
not have the need for you to make 13 changes in order for you to be able to make me happy or to contribute to my happiness. Because again, we do know that nobody can make you happy. All they can do is contribute to your happiness. You have to choose happiness. And some people are in stuck places in their relationship because they're waiting for their mate to make them happy. I can't make you happy. I can contribute to your happiness if you choose happiness. But if you don't choose happiness, it doesn't matter what happiness I bring to you and what happiness I contribute, it's still not going to equal out for you to be happy because you have not chosen happiness. And that's a dangerous place because you then have this grand expectation of me to produce in an area that you actually won't even allow me to produce in because you haven't even chosen that as an outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically a setup for failure.
Do me a favor, y'all. Drop in here one expectation you have in your relationship. Because I just want to see what kind of expectations y'all have. Had or have.
Right.
Let's say had or have. So if you drop it in here and you ain't in it, we don't know. We don't know if you had it or you had it. And then, answer this. If that same expectation was put on you, would you be able to produce? Because we also do that. We also want to put something on someone that you can't produce it within your own will. If your spouse had that expectation of you or for you to do it, would you be able to produce it? Good. I mean, me expecting to sit down at dinner every night is kind of a realistic thing. We are a family. I mean, we could just not do some things and probably do that, right? Back then. Now the kids got all types of schedules and I choose not to, have to worry about them, but except for the ones that I have to worry about. But back then, yes, we could sit down. We had little ones, like we tell them what to do. They don't tell us what to do. We just had to get our schedules under control. Right. So what types of things are y'all, expecting or experiencing or, failed at because you thought that you was going to get it and you didn't? And are y'all thinking, is this making you think? Because if you really sit down, some arguments are off of the expectation. We know everything deals with communication, but a lot of things that we go through are off of expectation. And even if it's not an argument, sometimes you're disappointed. Right. Sometimes you're disappointed off of expecting that you're going to get something, whatever it is, something from your spouse, you know what I'm saying? Like something, an act of service, whatever it is, you are disappointed because, wow, I really thought. And they're like, I didn't have no clue, or I had no, I didn't have no desire to do that, right. Or did not plan to do that.
Right. Yeah, and that's a real thing too. And like even when you look at, some things that we look at as expectations or things that we have, one might expect that their mate is going to be able to provide for them stuff that the mate doesn't even know they need, right? Because let's think about it. In the beginning of our relationship, we brought up our representative, right? We showed our best foot. We were trying to do everything right. We were trying to show all of our strengths. We were trying to hide all of our weeknesses. We were trying to.
Everything right.
Oh, okay. That must have been in a relationship before.
No comments, please. If you're on here, no comments, please.
So, but so you figuring, okay, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be this, and realistically hope that doesn't come towards me. We were in a conversation earlier with some of the men, And the question came up about, dating younger boys and them trying to date and all that kind of stuff. And, if you saved up your money to take a girl out, cool, you saved up your money and took her out. But the question that I asked was, if she enjoyed herself and was like, when can we do this again? Then what? Because if you don't have a job, then you don't have a source of income.
You like about 6
to
months
be
as soon as I
right,
get my
your next birthday. I'm I'm gonna save up and then we're gonna see
allowance.
what can happen. But that same type of thing happens when we put forth our representative. Because that representative was crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's, had me thinking that you were this detailed person, this great communicator, this loving and attentive person, that you had all of these great qualities. And then as soon as you felt like you had me, you relaxed on all of those things that actually caught my attention. So now I'm looking for you to be the person that you introduced me to, when in essence, you were just trying to introduce me to the person that does the interview, not the person that was actually going to come and work for the company. Some of you interview very well. You say all of the right things, give all of the right answers, but when it actually comes time to show up on the job and do the work, piss poor performance. And then people are trying to figure out like what happened, because I thought in the interview you told me that you were great in this and that you had good time management skills and that you did this and you were able to do this and you've had previous experience working with this type of software and all of these other things that may have been necessary. And then you impressed me in the interview. And then I give you the position and you underachieve, you underperform, and then I'm disappointed and you leave me wondering, did I make a mistake or did you give me false information? Did you try to tell me what you thought I wanted to hear, try to show me what you thought I wanted to see, and that wasn't the real you? And now I'm stuck with the real you when I actually was interested in your representative.
I had a thought and then left. So we have a comment that says rest properly. You had expectations to rest properly. And I don't know if that's from your side, your family side, whatever. But reality is that's probably a lot of relationships. Like you think, or a lot of marriages, like we're gonna do this, do that. We're gonna get in bed at a certain time. We're gonna go to sleep. We're gonna get about 7-8 hours, and then life. Oh, where's my brother at? Then life be lifing. I hope he's listening. But it's true. So then lives, and then you're like, how did I just get 3 hours of sleep? What happened? Right? And then that changes the whole rest. I saw something that said something like a mother being a mother, doing everything, for everyone, and then everyone in the house is wondering why she's in a bad mood. Right. When it says something about being a wife or something, I might have it wrong, right? But it's true, because when you don't rest, then other things start happening. And now this is an issue in your relationship because why? Because your spouse doesn't know that you really need to get that 8 hours, right? You really need to lay down and rest. And it might take about 4 months, 6 months to a year, 2 years, 3 years, but they realize, no, you need to lay down and get your rest. When you get your rest, life is good in here. And this goes for man or woman. But when you don't get that rest, it's not. But, yes, you might have expected that. Like, oh, I came from you might say I came from being single to being married. And now, it's not so much load, it's not so much weight. So I'm going to be able to rest. And it might not be so, because you might add things to your life. Children, other things, that you need to do and take care of. And you might not get that. And I don't necessarily know if that's what you meant, but I just took it that way, right? So, is there anything else? Y'all chime in. If y'all have any questions, please ask questions. Tell us what expectations you have. Tell us, right, if you got a comment of why you shouldn't have expectations, because you might can help us, right? Because there's some things I still expect folks to do. However, I have to communicate it now. Like you can't have expectations without communication, because how is that even going to work? A lot of us do that, even to our children. We have expectations on them, but we don't sit down and have a conversation, even for them to understand the expectations, right? Go to school, get good grades. That's all I'm saying, because I said so. Right. First of all, did you get good grades? Right? And how many conversations did you have to have for you got them? Or did you get out of school by the skin of your teeth? Like, come on now. So sometimes you need to have a conversation as to why, as to what, why you need this or why they need this with your spouse. Like, I need this because X, Y, and Z. Right. I need to sit down at the dinner table because I need to feel like a sense of family, whatever it is. Right? That wasn't my case. I just needed to, I feel good as long as we can eat, we good. But I just thought it would be nice. It would be nice if we just all have dinner. Like right now, I think it would be nice if we have Sunday dinner a few times a month. I communicate that to my family. We're going to see how it works out. I'll let y'all know. I'll let y'all know, because preparation comes with that for us. Because we're in church. We're doing a lot of things, So preparation comes in to be able to do that. Like Saturdays to prepare for Sunday. And half the time we just getting our food on Sunday. So what I'm saying is, again, expectation without communication is going to be a failure every time. Absolutely. Expectation with communication and patience will work out a little better. Right. Because if you can have patience to wait till you see it, but also patience to know that if I never see it, I've communicated it and this is what I got, right? This is what I got. Social media is hurting us because we think that this is what, I will take weight loss for an example. So you on there looking at whoever, and yeah, they had 7 children and their bodies look like that. And I need to, and they said they eat this and they do this and they do that, but they forgot to tell you that they went under the knife. Right. Now, going under the knife does not mean that you still don't have to eat this, do that, but it might help you a little more. And going under the knife may not be going in the knife to get a BBL or whatever. They just got some fat taken out or whatever. Could have got tummy tucked down, whatever. But you struggling to look like that because you think that's what your husband want or need. And you are messing yourself up. Right. And he might have communicated something to you, but was it that? Right. You need to find your way to meet expectations, right? Or to not have them until it's just live in your relationship, And again, when I'm saying this about not having the expectations, I'm not saying we don't have expectations that our relationship won't mature from the first year to the 10th year or the 17th year. I'm saying the expectations that we put on each other for something that we didn't see ever. Right. We didn't see. I'm not saying expectations that my husband won't be a finisher. Right? Some of y'all need to be finishers, right? I'm giving you some sidebars today. Some of y'all need to be finishers, okay? If you start this school, you need to finish. Stop jumping around to everything because that puts lack of trust from your spouse in you, okay? Absolutely. Be a finisher. When you pick up something, when you say you're going to do something, listen, if you start hating it in the middle, well, too bad. You spend some money on it, you're going to finish it, right? So I'm not saying stuff like that. But I'm saying like things like you think, oh yeah, we're going to get married. He's going to take care of me. Did y'all discuss that? He going to pay for my hair, my nails, my this. And again, I'm giving y'all this frivolous little young minor stuff. But some of these things are true for people. Did y'all discuss that? Did you discuss it? Like you have these expectations that are unreal. So many people, if I ask y'all to jot down what expectations did you have going down that aisle, right? I ask y'all about now, but if you tell me what expectations you had going down that aisle, you'll probably say a lot of things that I would be like, okay, yeah, not having it. Do you have it now? No. Expectation. I'm still waiting for my white picket fence, right? I want a picket fence. I'm not saying I'm never going to get it. But I'm like, Marcus, we need to have white picket fence. He doesn't know that until I express it to him. So next house, you need to be either looking for a house with a white picket fence or knowing that you're going to have the people come to put that white picket fence up there because that's what I want. Right? But I can't get mad because I'm like, man, everywhere we move, we don't have no fence. And y'all might be laughing at me, but sit down and think about your relationship. And how I can say this is because some of y'all talk to us, and sometimes I'm just like, "What you expected that?" I'm sorry.
Did they ever agree to it?
Did they agree? His finances was messed up before you married him. You already knew you was gonna have to fix it, help, whatever. And now you get married and said, "I thought." You expected. That's what happened. And he's still doing what he was doing.
And you expected it without your contribution. You expected it without your participation.
And that is a problem. So again, we're on here to dialogue with you guys. Please put in your comments, your questions. Please like and share, because expectations will mess up a whole relationship, because we do not realize that we are really, our demands are our expectations sometimes, and we're putting that on the other person. And the reality is that some of these things they can't produce or don't even want to produce.
Right.
They didn't have no desire. I had no desire to cook 3 meals a day. No desire. So if Marcus expected that, then he was going to be disappointed because I had no desire to do it. I'm sorry. But guess what? Neither one of us look like we miss a meal.
Watch it.
Or have missed meals. Our kids don't look like, well, we got one, he's a little skinny. But they said he all right, so keep praying. Because I was a little nervous, like, is this boy all right? So look, we didn't miss a meal, but that expectation on me saying, oh, yeah, she said that, but when we get married, she gonna do it. Because some of us think that way. Mm-hmm. Oh, when we get married, she gonna make sure she handle this, or he gonna handle this. And it's not, because they never agreed to it. Like you said, right. They never agreed. They never said, or they said like, no, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that. But you just want this relationship. You want to hang on. You want this so bad. And that's listen, it's nothing wrong with wanting it. It's nothing wrong with hoping for it. But something wrong when it causes discrepancies in your relationship because of something that you expected.
Right.
It's something wrong with that. It's something wrong when you can't get past it. It's something wrong when you can't look around and say, they're the same person they were. Yep. They're the same person they were when I married. Now, Marcus is not the same person I married in 1999. But some of the things that he does, same thing he been doing. If I'm upset about that, he was that person. He was that person. So, yes, we've matured, in things. But some of these things, if I'm upset, they were that person. If you really think back to the day of your marriage or the day before, were they that person that day? Yeah, they was. Were they that person when you were dating them and you were so excited about getting to that aisle? Yeah, they were. They were. And they had no idea or it wasn't even in their mind to be meeting certain expectations.
Right.
And some people will be very honest. And I appreciate a relationship that's honest. I appreciate a relationship that can communicate. Because I already knew 3 meals a day, not happening. Because let me tell you, Cherie wasn't doing it. Right? Now, I might do it now. But back then, I wasn't doing it. I was young. I was like, we're going to go out, which was kind of crazy because, like, we spent so much money probably out. Like, we're going out. We doing this. No. But it was communicated.
Right.
So I don't want you to ever think like marriage is this. Whatever you put in that sentence, make sure that your spouse feels the same way.
Right.
If you are engaged, please have this conversation. Y'all know y'all my favorite people, right? When you are engaged, please have this conversation. I expect this. I expect that you will not leave your socks on the floor beside your bed, that you will put them in the hamper. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, I never even had a hamper in my house. Right. I piled them in the corner.
Right.
And your spouse is like, no, we can never do that. So what we need to do now is get you a hamper, get you to practicing. Because when we get married, I expect that no clothes will be on the floor.
And like that brings me to my next question, right? Which is, how should you respond when your expectations have not been met, right? Because we live in a real world where you're not going to always get your way. And with the example that you just gave, that I thought that your I didn't think that you were going to leave your sock on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
or you got your bra on the floor or whatever. Like, I didn't think that that was going to happen. Now, here's the thing that you have to consider. Although that was my thought, apparently this is your consistent routine and habit.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for me to change that, or I need to participate in that, because you clearly have shown to me that this is not a challenge for you, right? And because it's not a challenge for you, the change that I'm looking for, I may have to participate in. And that's something that we don't often want to do. We don't often want to participate in the change that we want to see, because participating means that I have to do some work about something that I don't like about you. Now, if you don't have a problem with your stuff being on the floor and I do, I may have to be the one to go and buy the hamper so you can put your stuff in the hamper, because it's not that important to you. When you're in a store, you're not even going to think about a hamper. Because since you've been 5, you've been putting your stuff on the floor. So you walk by the hamper and it don't ring a bell. It don't set no alarm off. Like, hey, don't forget you need one of those. Didn't think anything about it, because this is what I've been doing since I was 5. It bothers you. So if you get the hamper, then I very well may put my stuff in it. You just got to put the hamper in the corner that I put my clothes in. And then I'll put my clothes in the hamper because it's in the same corner. I'm not changing what I was doing. I'm just changing where I'm putting it. Mm-hmm. And because it bothers you, sometimes you have to participate in what bothers you. And when you do that, you then contribute to the situation. And now it doesn't become judgmental. It becomes partnership. Mm-hmm. And that is healthy, because now I see that you're not just fussing. I see now you're not just complaining, but you're contributing. And you're helping to really relieve your own stress.
Yes. So, how should you respond when your expectations have not been met? Please answer. Somebody answer.
Oh. Because I mean, a piece of that is, do you have a right to be upset? Do you have a right to be upset, especially if your expectation was not communicated?
Yeah. Now, we're not talking about if you communicated this. He said he gonna pay all the bills. All you gotta do is take care of yourself, and then you get married, and then you paying all the bills, and all he doing is taking care of himself. Then yes, there is a conversation that needs to happen, right? There's a conversation that needs to be happening there. But these are expectations that, you have communicated possibly, and you just don't see it. You just don't see the result. You just don't see the push to even meet it. Like, how are you responding, or how should you respond? Right? Me, I would say, the today me would say, the past me, we're going to leave her back in the past. The today me would say, like, try another way. Right? Communicate another way. Communicate why. Communicate ways to do it. Mm-hmm. Because I do feel like anybody can be taught anything, right? But you also have to see how your spouse is able to learn or receive from you, right? Sometimes they can't receive when you pointing, or when you saying, so no, what you want to do is, or when, as my husband say, you start clapping that same hand, you are going to, that's not going to work out. You need to see how your spouse receives, how your husband receives from you, how your wife receives from you. And then sometimes you need to talk about it outside of, and if anybody's ever talked to me, I will tell you, talk about things outside of the issue happening, right? So now when you're disappointed that you expect it and you can't believe that he didn't do it, now you want to talk about all the 9 years that you never take this trash out, and I'm so tired. I came down here and this trash is falling over. That right there is when you don't talk about it, right? Because you're not going to get a good result. If you expect something, you don't get it, and you talk about it in the moment, sometimes you won't get a good result unless you are one person who knows how to be calm in the moment. Marcus knows how to be calm. Again, I will tell y'all, what you see is what you get. Does he get upset? Yes, but we will let that be far and few between. We don't want to see that, right? But He's calm like this. When you see us out and he calm, laughing, joking, he does the same thing with me in the house. Whether I'm mad, happy, sad, whatever. He's the same way. So it's not we're not getting behind closed doors and he's screaming to the top of his lungs, right? So he knows how to be calm in situations, right? Me, I might have to say, let me breathe, because I know that I asked him to do, but let me breathe, because maybe he literally forgot. Maybe it was, maybe something happened. I wasn't around, whatever, because then I become accusatory. Is that a word?
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole thing blows up when something happened while they couldn't meet the expectations. But that's how I feel you should respond. You should think of other ways. You should pray for other ways to how to reach your spouse or how to be able to teach something another way. We use this often. When your child is not getting something, you do not give up on your child. You teach your child several ways so to see if they can get it. If you're a good parent, right? And if you don't know, you go and seek resources. But right. We don't do that in our marriage. No, we're seeking no resources because we don't want nobody to know what's going on. I think somebody talked about that today in church. Like, we don't want nobody to know what's going on. So we're not seeking no resources or somebody that can help us, right? To get through this thing. So instead, we're just accusing, being mad, not speaking for days and days and days. And I hope y'all grow up from that. I really hope y'all grow up from not speaking to your spouse for days and days and days.
Absolutely.
I pray that you don't get no sleep if you try to do that, because life is crazy out here, and I don't want any of y'all crying because you didn't speak for 2, 3, 4 days and something happened to one of y'all. Right. Not even death. See, we always thinking death, but you never thinking your spouse can have a stroke and can't talk.
Right. You
never thinking your spouse can have a stroke and not know who you are. Have a traumatic brain injury or something. Y'all not thinking those ways. Y'all not thinking those ways. We always thinking, oh, they could die. But there's so many other things that can happen. And you still right there with them, but they can't even comprehend what you're trying to say about, sorry, I wasn't speaking to you for the last 3 days before this thing happened to you. So we need to get over that.
Yeah.
We need to grow from that, right? I know that's not about expectations, but that's Cherie's expectation for your relationship. You need to grow from that. You need to stop being like, oh yeah, well, I just didn't say nothing for 5 days. It's not cute.
Right.
It's not healthy, and it's not mature, right? Mature people have conversations. Absolutely. Mature people work things out. Mature people get through the tough times, right? I'm not saying we don't wait a minute or whatever, but none of this. I ain't talked to him since Monday, and it's now Saturday. Or I ain't talked to her since whatever. I ain't even come home last night. It's not cool. I'm here to tell you, it's not cool. If you know somebody who think it's cool, send this to them. Please tell them watch the replay. It's not cool. It's not cool. You're going to be the one crying and upset when something happens that you can't control. And I'm not talking always about death.
Exactly.
So,
because what happens when you're met? The response that you're met with is the response that you gave. Because it's disrespectful, right? On several levels, the way that some people react and respond. And that causes a person to get upset. So if you want to be disrespectful when you're upset and you think that you have a right to be because you are, you still have to consider how would you feel if their reaction to your reaction, you were met with the same intensity, you were met with the same decision, you were met with the same choice and outcome. Like that wouldn't feel, the greatest. And we also have to be prepared to accept the truth. When we're trying to figure out something, like you can say, I know I asked him about, we could go back to the hamper situation that we gave, the scenario we gave about the hamper, and you went in the store and came out and didn't get a hamper and you walked right by it. And then you're going to be upset if their response is, oh, I ain't think nothing else about that. Like,
breathe,
breathe.
Breathe.
What you mean you ain't think nothing else about it?
What are you saying?
Right. Now that seems to be offensive to you because it's a concern of yours, and that's why you brought it up. But it's actually the honest truth that I didn't think nothing else about it after the conversation because it's not that important to me. Now, it may take some time for me to really understand the reason why that is an expectation for you. one of the comments was, you got to first get a better understanding about the expectation and why it's important. Mm-hmm. So if I didn't do that, and then I turn around and disregard what was asked and expected of me, and then my response is an honest one, I ain't think nothing else about that since we had that conversation. That could come off as offensive, but the reality is I just didn't get a better understanding of the expectation nor why it was important to you.
And you never did this because you've been throwing clothes on the floor since you were 5, like you said,
right,
in the scenario. So, yeah. But in the moment, y'all, we so quick to not digest what we heard, right? Because we're not even listening. We're just waiting for them to be quiet so we can talk.
Right.
We got to start really listening to, listen. Oh, read that comment, please.
Life is short and anything can happen at the drop of a second.
Yes, that goes back to what I was saying about the spouses. Anything can happen. Like, guys, please stop thinking that it's just, they can die. No, they could be right here, but you can't tell them what you're trying to tell them. You can't apologize because they can't comprehend it. But what was I saying before that? Okay, gone. See?
I don't think you really got started with it. You were about to start it, and then you went to the comments.
It was something you said, and I said.
I'm saying that it wasn't. I just ain't think nothing else about it because.
Oh, I know that's what I said. Got it. I was about to say, like, Marcus and I know this is like clutch your pearls for some of y'all, but we have a lot of communication errors, but we continue to communicate. Like, in a week, we can have so many communication errors, and it's so crazy, but we have always had to communicate a lot because we have a lot of children, and we have to communicate, and we still communicate because we still have a lot of children, right? And we have a lot of other things going on more than we had back in the day. So, but there are a lot of communication errors there, but we have to keep talking and keep communicating because if we don't, I would expect that he gets it. So sometimes when I say things, I have to come back and say, all right, and he does this too. All right, so this is what we're doing, right? Like, just to make sure that you got it right. So I'm not expecting that you're going to pick the kids up, and then you're not there, and I'm not there, and they just there.
Right.
Like,
or there have been 19 conversations
about
during the course
thing.
of the day. Well, no, not even about the one thing. 19 conversations in the course of the day about the 19 different hats that might be worn. It might be one going on about the children. It might be one going on about, bills. It might be one going on about a vacation. It might be one going on about, work 9 to 5 stuff. And then it might be one going on about business or my business or, school or like basketball stuff. Like, it's so many conversations that's going on in the course of a day that a statement can be made like, so you got an update? And you like looking like, update for what? We had 19 conversations, which, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm thinking that you talking about one thing, I'm responding to item 2 while you talking about item 6. And my response, it can be like, why would you do that? That's the dumbest thing in the world. When it's a great response to number 2, because that's what I thought you were talking about while you're really talking about number 6. And those communication errors can become something that is dangerous and make your relationship toxic if you don't fix those things.
Yeah, that's true.
Brother Reverend.
So do y'all have... Hey. So do y'all have any questions, right? Y'all can type your questions. Any comments about expectations or what you do or what you've done. We're going to be on here for 8 more minutes. Oh my goodness. And then
that's how you handle it. You just switch the topic quickly.
Okay, comment, you got to read it for them. Okay, I switch topics quickly. I say topic change. Okay, so if you're having a lot of conversations, then you like topic change so that they know what's going on. Is that what you're talking about? Okay. So, yeah, that's good. I should do that because I don't. So what happens is, like, yes, Marcus is, okay. Oh, okay, yes. Because I don't say topic change.
I mean, at all.
I will just go to something different. So right now we had a conference, a lovely leadership conference this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Shout out to Victorious Ministries and everybody who spoke. It was amazing. I might get up from this live and start talking about something that happened on Saturday, and Marcus is lost. I'm like, cause Nehemiah 4, cause when they was, and he like, where are we? Where did we go? Like, where are you? Because I'm just lost, because I just start talking. And that's another reason why I have to communicate a lot, because I need to make sure that what I said to him, he understood what it was for and what situation it was for. You know, going throughout our day, especially if you're texting, guys, because some texts get missed. As many texts we have going on our phone, like, you know, you got 6 kids, then you got a text with each separate kid, then you got a family text, then you got, you know, then you got your friends groups, then you got your groups for church, and then you got your directors group, and, you know, then your work is texting you. So you need to make sure, it's a wonder I don't be texting stuff in another group for another. So you have to make sure that in text that they got it and understand it, because sometimes the text can get missed. And I know there's still a lot of people in this world that don't even like. I saw somebody the other day say they text their husband all the time and he never responds. He just picks up the phone and calls them and answers their text because he's not a texter. But he gets them. But then he just picks the phone and say, hello, this is this, you know, whatever. And I think that's so funny, but that is their way of communicating. And that's his way. So she knows it. And he knows she's going to text me. Now I'm just going to call her and respond.
Yeah, I'll be working hard over here with this dialogue. Because like, I think y'all, let me paint the picture so you understand, right? She will have a thought in her mind, right? And midway through the thought, pick up in the midway of the thought in the conversation and just start talking, because there's no way that should have been right there. What?
And this is exactly how he is, huh?
What happened?
Where are we?
Right? I mean, she could just be sitting there and she'd be thinking about a whole nother day, a whole nother topic, and like all into that thought. And then so just be like, because that's crazy. You was gonna put that shoe. Why would they put that shoe right there? And I'm like, who had shoes? I mean, what are we talking about? Oh gosh, yo, that's the truth. I'm not even gonna lie with that. That is the truth. Like, oh wait, that's JB.
Yes. Okay. So, woo, mishearing them sounds. So I'm like, you know, I really think a lot, y'all, and then I just go. I go, right? And so when you like that, you gotta really communicate. And you cannot get upset when somebody is lost or somebody can't get where you are. You know, like one person said, if you are, you know, you say topic change, right? I'm going so fast. Y'all see how fast I talk. I'm going so fast. I just changed the topic. I don't even have time to, you know, sometimes my kids like, Mom, where we at? We were just talking about them, you know. Now we're like, I'm gone. I'm over here now. I'm talking about. Okay, are we still talking about, like, where are we? Because I just go for it, and I don't know where that comes from.
No blanket,
I have
just
too much.
Lanes.
But in the same instance, I have to stop and make myself listen, right? And so I have to make myself listen to what Marcus is saying. Marcus is a very slow talker, and if y'all know Marcus personally, he is going to get his thought out, and it's going to be an amazing thought. But I just be like, come on. Like, say it. Like, say it. So I had to make myself listen. Have to try to go at his pace sometimes, as slow as it may be. I can't imagine how he's going to be when he's 80. But, you know, I have to take my time and listen. Even with my children, I have to make, in my mind, I'm saying, listen, Sheree. Listen, because you about to start talking over top of them. They never gonna get their words out. And children won't say nothing. They just shut it down and go away about their business. Then later you ask them something, they like, Mom, I was just trying to tell you, you know, that I left the key card and I had to pay $5 for a new key card. You know, whatever it is. So I'm trying to listen. And so that's what I'm saying about, you know, when you're having this dialogue about your expectations, you need to really be listening. Be very slow to speak. Indeed. Right? You need to really listen.
She'd be upset about me honoring the scripture. Just want to make that clear. But go ahead.
slow to speak is an understatement.
But listen, let me tell y'all something. In all honesty, it is very intentional, right? I make mistakes. Okay, I know it's unbelievable. I make mistakes, right? And here's the thing. I make mistakes, but most of the mistakes that I make are in action, not in words. It is very rare that I'm apologizing for something that I said because I thought my words out, and I don't speak without thinking my words through. You're not going to bring my words back to me and have them misunderstood because I speak in a manner in which everything I say I can stand on. So, we always joke about the difference with men and women, and I always say that women speak while they're gathering their thought.
True.
So they may take 10 minutes of talking to make a 3-minute point because they're gathering their thought while they're talking. And then they will get frustrated with a man that takes 8 minutes to respond because he's gathering his thought before he starts speaking. And then he gives a 1-minute response. And they're frustrated because I asked you a question and then it's been 8 minutes and you haven't answered yet because I'm processing it. And then his frustration is that I asked a question and then you just gave me 10 minutes worth of information that only 2 of them I needed. The rest, you were formulating your thought and you went over this point 3 or 4 times because you were hashing out which way you wanted to approach it and how you wanted to deal with it and all of that. That's a difference between some men and some women. Everybody, of course, is not the same. But I'm very meticulous about what words I say. And so you will very rarely hear me apologize for something I said because whatever I said, I meant it. You ain't gonna hear me talking about, oh, I'm sorry, I said that, I ain't even mean it, that slipped out. It didn't slip out. If I said it, it didn't slip out.
Let me read some comments. Women's minds are going so fast. Absolutely. Open dialogue must be priority in every relationship if you want it to flourish.
Yep.
I agree. We have to give positive feedback to let them know that you appreciate them. Like, thanks for all you did today. That's true. And now I'll give compliments. I do all of that stuff. Now I might be, and 2 days ago, giving you my thought, but I will do that. And patient hubbies rock. I know that this is really good and this is for a reason. But some days I'm just like, you need to come on with it. You need to, like, how are you so calm like this? How are you so patient like this? Like, please. But in reality, I know that if he was different, it would not work for me. Right? Y'all will probably see us on the news. It would not work for me. But I do agree with that. And I do agree that we're gathering the thought I do agree. And now men are like that too.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah,
but I just need to speed it up a little bit. You need to speed up just a little bit. And, then we can not have to wait. So see people nervous to say, yeah, he do that.
No, it ain't gotta be.
Tell the truth.
It's a fact. But here's the thing. Right?
You be like, come on, Pastor Marcus, get it out. Come on, we having a meeting. Why are you just say that thought?
Here's the thing. Most men utilize their filter from their thought to their speech because if they remove the filter and just speak what comes to mind, it will hurt your feelings more times than it doesn't. So to eliminate harming the one that they love, because we can be very direct, we can be very swordish with our words. And if you don't know that, talk to some men that talk to each other. Men don't use cut cards when they talk to other men. It's just raw and real. But when you're talking to the woman that you love and you understand that she hears you with her heart, not her ears, then you're more careful with what you say, because if I just react or respond in a quick manner without using the filter from my mind and my mouth, your heart would be trampled on many days just because I just came off with my quick response, and then, it'd be a whole nother challenge. So you got to pick your battles. Would you rather have the quick response that's going to cut you, or would you rather be patient and get the one that's going to be soothing?
Yeah, that's good. You got to pick that battle. I'm sorry. Just keep praying for me, guys. Just keep praying for me because, I just want you to talk. Like, let's go. Like, if I say a sentence and I'm waiting 2 minutes, like, did you hear me? Come on. He's processing, and I just don't have that right there, you know? And so, I don't know. I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to be that way. I know who I am and how I'm going to be. I'm a little slower. Imagine, this is a little slower than I used to be. So, y'all know, I'm a little slower. But, yeah. So, back to expectations. You got another question?
Yeah.
And also, didn't they have some homework from last week or something?
They did, but we ain't going to check that.
Okay. He don't have it. He don't believe y'all can do it. Can you expect what you have not communicated? No, that's my answer. No, you can't. And we talked about this earlier though. But no, you can't, because you didn't verbalize it. Nobody is a mind reader, right? You have to talk, right? That's why I want Marcus to speak. It's slow, but I need him to speak, because I can't. I got that little prophetic gift, but I can't read your mind. It's a little prophetic gift. I can't read your mind though. Like, I'm like, oh Marcus, I said this to you. You expect me to look in your head and get the answer? I need you to talk, right? So you have to communicate it. Everything in our relationship, we're going to have to use the C word, and that's communication. But not only are we going to have to communicate, we're going to have to use the proper communication for our relationship. Because what we're doing is looking at social media, looking at somebody else, your good homeboy, your good girlfriend, and the way they communicate is different. Yeah. So you have to figure out your way. You have to study your mate for their, how they communicate. Like, why would you try to be somebody else? Be the best you, because you're the only one who can be it. Yep. Right? So figure out how to communicate. And listen, y'all, this is not hard. Like, this is like an open book test. All you have to do is say, what's the best way to communicate with you? And what's the best time to communicate with you?
That is another major point. Major.
And if you're upset, can you talk right away? Or what do we need to do? So for those of y'all that's engaged and y'all listening, you need to get this straight now. Because what you're doing from your separate houses is not, listen, I will be the one to tell you, right? Me and Marcus did not live together. So when we got together, I was like, man, I can't leave. Like, I can't leave. Because one thing about Marcus, you're not sleeping downstairs. You're not, like, we are married for real. For real. So, you upset? Too bad. But get your tail on the bed. Like, it's not in the very kindest way he can give it, and I appreciate it now, but at the same time, that was a reality for me. Like, you get a little upset before, whether he knew or didn't. Now I can go ahead home to my house, or I can go ahead and go outside, hang out, whatever. When you're married, you can't do all that. Now, do y'all do it? Yes. Is it right? I don't think so. So it's like, you need to figure out, like, how you're going to communicate, what you can and can't do. Because when you're engaged, and if you're not living together, there's some things that you're probably doing now that you never even thought. And then it's going to happen, and it's going to take you down. Because I was like, darn, I can't, like, go out this door, because I'm going to have to come back in this door, because I need to go sleep. So, like, unless you want to drive around all night to the next day, and I'm sure somebody on here listening probably has done that. But I'm not the one. I want to sleep in my bed and be comfortable. So I had to figure, that was a trick that, like, okay, you can't leave. So you need to figure this out. You need to figure out how to communicate, or what you're going to do when the times get rough.
Right.
I know everybody has this peachy, pretty relationship, but there are times when it gets rough. And I'm not saying rough like y'all screaming and hollering. I'm just saying rough where it's a miscommunication or misunderstanding. And so what do we do now? You might have your man cave, and she might have her she shed or something like that. Great. But for somebody who's living in an apartment or a smaller house or something like that, might not have that. Right. So you have to figure out what we're going to do so we can remain in here, right? And how we're going to handle this. Because let me tell you this, everybody loves negativity. I told y'all, I was going to put on social media one day that Marcus was not my man no more. And we was going to see how many clicks and talks and all that, right? I was going to get. Because when I post Man Crush Monday, ain't too many on there. But I'm telling you, negativity, drama, your neighbors seeing you leave out all the time, your neighbors hearing you through the wall fussing, it will draw them to be in your business. So you also have to discuss that, my engaged people, even your married people. Who should we be talking to, or who needs to know our business?
Yeah.
Right? And especially when you're mad about something that you expected you didn't get, and you didn't even communicate, and you out here wanting to talk to somebody else. You want to talk to your cousin who's talking to somebody else, or talking like, no. So you need to figure this out. That comes with a conversation, because everything we do is, again, what? Communication. Nothing we're going to do in this relationship is going to be without communication. So this is another thing to you engaged couples. If you don't like to communicate, stay single.
Absolutely.
Keep dating. Date till you decide, I like to communicate, or how I'm going to communicate, or, because ain't no need in wasting nobody's time. You married 3 and 4 times because of you.
Right.
Because you're the problem. Right? And after a while, you need to sit down and decide, like, how am I going to fix myself?
Right.
Because I done had 3 or 4 spouses, right? Now, if your spouse passed away, guys, I'm not talking about that. You get you another spouse, that's okay. But you just going from here to here to here. I don't think that was God's plan for us. I don't think that was God's plan for us at all. So I think that we need to figure out within ourselves what we're doing wrong. Why we're expecting things, why we're not communicating things, why we think this should happen, why we think that should happen, why we are not able to check ourselves. Why we're not able to check ourselves. Like right now in this conversation, you should have took a second to think, like, man, I really expect that. I really expect him to get up early and take the kids to school when he ain't never got up early. Or when he just went to bed because he worked, late. 3 to 11, something. And I expect him to get up when I'm just going to get up and do it anyway. And then I'm going to do it with an attitude because I expect that he should offer to take the kids. No, that's a conversation. Okay. We have meetings. Bevans family has meetings. Now you can take this and you could do this in your house too. I don't care how many people in your house. It's just y'all two. Have a meeting. This is what's going to happen this season. Okay, we're going into spring now. We're going to have a meeting for spring, summer. This is what we're about to do. Spring, summer. If you got kids, you're going to need to have a meeting because you need to know what these children need to be doing, how much money you're going to spend, all of that. Then when school time, have another meeting, right? Then it's holiday time, need to have another meeting. Meetings work.
They do.
Meetings help you operate your household properly.
Make sure everybody understands what's going on in their role in it.
Absolutely. Because you cannot just walk around like we just playing it by ear today. No, everybody needs to know what's going on or what should be going on. Even if sometimes we have meetings and then we look back 3 weeks later like, now what's happening? Nobody followed none of the meeting rules. Like, what is going on? I don't understand. And I'm saying it calm like this to y'all, but in this house, I'm like, what is happening with y'all? I don't really be yelling like that no more, every now and then. But, like, what's happening? Like, why? Why can't we follow the rules? So you need to have meetings. Then things can be communicated. Then, even still, if you expect something and you don't see it, then you have to figure out, what part did you not understand when we had this meeting?
Right.
What part, in a nice way, guys, because listen, women, I'm going to tell y'all something, because I am a woman. I might be a few women here, but the way you say things sometimes is cutting, right? You're cutting your husband. Although he's this big grown man, you're cutting him. The way you say it or the way you expect to get something is cutting to him. So sometimes he's quiet because, like Marcus said, he don't want to take you there. Because then you'll be crying. I can't believe you said that, but never thought about what you said, right? So you should have to be able to communicate, properly, or ask questions properly. Hey, we had this meeting. Why? What part of this, got foggy for you, or are you confused, or did you just not do it yet? Whatever. However you communicate with your husband, and listen, none of y'all should be scared to talk to your spouse. If you are, you with the wrong person.
Right.
You with the wrong person if you're scared to have a conversation. If I can't say this, I can't say that. I'm walking on pins and needles. I will never a day in my life walk on pins and needles in my own place. No. In my own relationship. That's kind of, no. We're here to be a team.
Yep.
to build together, to be together, to work together. So nobody should be afraid to say something. Now, even on the team, you might have to decide what time we're going to talk to each other, right? But we're going to talk to each other because the team not going to work if we don't talk.
Yep.
Is the comments over there? Okay. This comment right here. I would not fall for the fake breakup. Oh, I wonder how many people will fall for it. A lot of people will fall for it, though. I just want to hear what people would say. I mean, I want to read it. Like, you're so crazy. People be in the inbox, probably. To my Marcus, I always loved you. I don't know why you picked Sheree. I don't know why you picked Sheree. I knew it was going to mess up. Whole freaking 25 years later, you talk about you knew it was going to mess up. But anyway, I'm going to come back. Let me bring it back. Come on back. You must understand there are a number of people watching you and looking at opportunity to strike when you least expect it. And that is true. I always tell my son what's going on, and he is so much happier. Absolutely. Like, y'all, to sidebar again for parenting, children need to know. There are some things that we're not going to tell them. Like, it's just going to be, a given. You're just going to do it. Right? But they need to know. They will be a better child for understanding and knowing what's going on. Even if it's something simple as a work schedule. Like, you might think, yeah, they understand I got to work because we got to get money to provide for me or for the house. But they might not understand the schedule. They might not understand the time. If you're an entrepreneur, they might not understand what that is. And you'll be surprised at the youngest age how much they can take in and get it and repeat it to somebody. Like, no, daddy has to work that because he's the boss. He's in charge. And so they count on him. Whatever it is, they will get it. Let's stop telling our children, be quiet and sit in a corner. Then when they're acting out in school, we're trying to figure out why. Because they can't talk at home.
I've been in the corner for 3 days.
Been in the corner, can't talk at home. Or all they're going to do is play video games. Y'all, please. Get them off them video games. I said this before. Get them off them video games. Go outside. Get some fresh air. Run. Play ball. Something. Sit on a porch. My son went outside. Our son. That's something it is, I tell y'all, 25. Like, and I still be like, and I know that where Taz Marcus up. But everybody knows these are our kids. But I still say that. So that's something that I always try to correct. But our son went outside talking about he wanted to sit on the step. I'm like, okay, what you doing? He was like, no, I'm just sitting outside. Because that is what a child should do. They don't make friends. You wonder why your child can't socialize or everybody isn't. And let me tell you something. If your child is having problems from and I know I'm getting off the subject, but I think I should say this. If your child is having problems from this class to this environment to that environment, it's your child. It's not the other children. It's your child. You need to figure out why they're having that issue. They're the common denominator. That's what we call it. If it's a common denominator, it's your child. Figure it out. If they're not getting fresh air, if they're not out there getting fresh air, first of all, sometimes children are depressed because they don't get that fresh air, that sunlight. If they're not in school, they're home in their room playing games, or they're in their basement playing games. Then somebody on the TV get them upset. They throw the remote, something like, no, we have to figure out why these things are happening. And a medication, and I'm a nurse and I'm saying this, a medication is not always going to fix those things. It's not going to fix it. You have to talk to your children. And more than talking to them, you have to listen. Sometimes to the things they're not even saying. Just body language. Just why this happens when they go here. I ask all type of questions. And my children are like, oh, Mom, like, what made you think of that? Listen, I need to know. Did they ever say something to you? Because when they came around, they like, Mom, I didn't even, what are you, But sometimes Marcus and I are right. And we just need to give them the chance to tell us because we asked the question. Right. And so we have to stop. Like, we cannot keep our kids sheltered in. They can't socialize. Social media is not socializing. Right? They can't even socialize with the little boy next door. I thought this was so amazing. There was a little boy whose grandmother, I think, came and sent him up here because she saw our son outside, and she sent the little boy up here. And he wasn't home the first day. He came back and said, my grandmother said, come up here because there's a little boy up here. I just want to know, can I play with your son? Like, yo, that does not happen. And I thank God she trusted us enough. She must have been watching us, or see how we operate day to day, to trust her grandchild enough to come up here. Or he just was and she sent them up the street. But that's okay, because we'll keep your kids straight up here. We're not gonna play. So they went outside and they played. Other kids came. Yo, that is socialization. Oh, no. That is how you get through in life. That's how you get through. Some of us can't even talk to our spouses correctly because we didn't. We didn't. We didn't have siblings, so we didn't know. Mm-hmm. We didn't know how to do that. Our parents told us, be quiet, stay in your room, stay in the child's place. You don't get to say nothing. And sometimes you don't need to. Like when grown-ups are talking, you need to mind your business. Go here somewhere. You better not ever tell me when the Bevans kids was in your grown-up conversation, because I'm going to handle it. And Marcus is definitely going to handle it. So, like, you need to figure this out, right? When it comes to your children. But that was a sidebar, a long one. So, y'all, we are going to, close out. But these expectations, I want you to think about, what are you putting on your spouse? What is your spouse putting on you? How would you feel if you were them? Like, how would you feel? That's a big question I have. How would you feel if you were them? And they were saying, I need you to, I expect you to do this, that, and the third. So, I just want y'all to have a great week. I just want y'all to be positive. I ask that y'all keep people in prayer. People are losing family members. Bevans keys are on point. And I thought, thank the Lord, because you don't know. Sometimes you just don't know. So I want you to keep my family in prayer. My sister-in-law lost her mother, so please keep her in prayer. And anybody who's going through grief, losing loved ones, please keep them in prayer. It's rough, y'all. It's rough, especially when you lose a parent, especially when you have no more parents, right? So please keep people in prayer. And if the topics, please, and we will pray about it, and we will speak on it, speak about it. If you have questions that you can't ask here, you can ask us in our DM, or what's that one?
Sorry.
DMs. If you know us personally, you can send it to us, you can email us, whatever, and we will get your question answered. If we don't know the answer, y'all, we don't make up anything. We're not gonna make it up. We're gonna send you to somebody who can answer you, or we're gonna find out the answer for you and come back and get the answer from somebody that we trust. So guys, take your relationship seriously.
Absolutely.
Do the work to make it grow. And we will be praying for you guys. You guys continue to pray for us. And we will see you next week in the Couples Corner.
Yeah.
Peace.